Good morning, it's Lauralee. Super interesting video for you this week because we are talking about DC, Marvel, and NFTs. So before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know that DC is giving away NFT art of Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Harley Quinn. And all you have to do is register for DC Fandom, which is also free and happening on October 16th. The NFTs are randomly assigned and you can sign up via the link below. Given the number of people that signed up last year, this could easily be the largest NFT drop ever. This is not sponsored in any way. I wish it were. DC, if you're listening. So if you're interested, make sure you do that before the event starts. If you've been here a while, you've probably heard me talk about NFTs and NFT art selling for millions of dollars earlier this year. And while the rest of the art world was jumping on the NFT bandwagon, comic book giants DC and Marvel were pumping the brakes and actually causing a bit of a rift between themselves and their artist community. So here's the tea. Back in March of 2021, Marvel and DC told artists that they could not sell NFT art of their characters. So this means no Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman, Captain America, Deadpool, Thor, Green Lantern, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and literally hundreds more can appear in NFT art unless Marvel or DC is the one selling it. So why is this a big deal? Some quick background on the comic book artist network. Every year, independent artists collectively make millions of dollars selling hand-drawn collectible pieces of comic book characters at conventions and on commission. Daniel Scott, a London-based agent who represents some of these artists, told Bloomberg that any given creator might sell 10 pieces a month for $20,000 each. You do that math, that's $20K a month. So even though they don't work for Marvel or DC necessarily, the Marvel and DC characters make up a good portion, if not all, of their income. It's called derivative work, and this setup has actually been in place for decades. When NFTs became popular earlier this year, artists assumed that this derivative work privilege would extend into the digital and blockchain world as well, and this was not the case. Both Marvel and DC made announcements and sent out letters telling artists that they could not mint NFT art featuring their characters. So this did not stop all artists from trying anyway. In April, an NFT of Wonder Woman went for $1 million, and another artist actually sold an NFT of the cease and desist letter that DC sent them for $2,000. So what's the deal? Are Marvel and DC just anti-NFT? Do they think digital art will mire their brand? As you may have guessed by my little announcement at the beginning of this video, not at all. In August, Marvel released a series of Spider-Man NFTs ranging in price from $40 to $400, and they did this through an app called VeVe. And in October, DC is doing a drop hosted by a company called NFT Studios. So it's clear that both companies want to capitalize on turning their portfolio of creative assets into digital art and then selling them as NFTs. Their delivery has not been the smoothest, and despite sitting on billions of dollars in potential digital art, both companies have outsourced the actual tokenizing of their assets. I don't think it will affect the value of the NFTs that are sold, but it's clear that both companies still see the venture as risky and they're not getting fully invested in blockchain and the NFT space. Which brings me to a question. So if DC and Marvel aren't really buying into NFTs just yet, should you, the consumer, buy their NFTs? I'll leave that decision and due diligence up to you, but as always, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Getting into, the meaty part of this video, and this is just my opinion, if I were an executive at DC or Marvel, first of all, I would be hiring up every blockchain developer and NFT expert out there like crazy. Like, do whatever you need to do to get them on board. Next, I would look to acquire an NFT platform like VeVe or, I can't even say it, Palm NFT, whatever one is a good fit, and use that platform instead of banning the sale of comic book character NFTs. And by funneling everything through a platform you own, you have more control over what happens. And what both Marvel and DC are really worried about here is that they won't get a portion of the sales from their IP. So artists are going to be selling art of their characters, and DC and Marvel aren't going to get a cut. But the glory of NFTs and smart contracts is that you can write anything into the smart contract. One of the parameters they can put into their platform is that if you are selling art featuring one of their characters, the platform takes a cut of that sale and of every subsequent sale. And we see this with NFTs that have nothing to do with the comic book space. Just regular art NFTs also have this built into them, where every time there's a sale, the original owner, which in this case is Marvel or DC, would get a portion of the sale. A sample contract might look like this, where Marvel or DC as the IP owner gets 5% of all sales, and then the artist gets 5% of the sale, and then the seller gets 90%. For artists, this isn't as sweet of a deal as what they have with physical art, where the comic book house gets 0% of the sale, but it's better than having an entire medium available and zero art to sell on it. Anyway, that's just what I would do. That's my opinion. If you have ideas, I would love to hear them as well. Please comment them down below. If you are interested in DC's NFT drop, don't forget to sign up for that before October 16th. That is all for this week. Keep living your legacy, and we will see you next time. Okay, bye.